Hello, my name is Abigail, and I have taken the PAX-RN and the TEAS test. I passed both of them, and I only really studied for a week-ish for both of them. I didn't get as good of scores as I really wanted to, but I passed, and I just got accepted into my community college nursing program, which is why I had to take both tests, because I applied to a 4-year university, and that's why I had to take the TEAS test, which I have it pulled up right here. I got a 73 overall. My reading was an 80, math was an 81, science was a 59, my English and language was a 75. This is what I have pulled up, what I had to send to the school. So I didn't do very well on that one. The science really threw me for a loop because it was a lot of anatomy, and it had been a year or two since I took anatomy. But for that test, for both tests, I got study books. I downloaded them on my iPad, which you can go to Library Genesis, I think it's called, and download the PDFs of a lot of textbooks, which is what I did for both. I tried to read through both of them. The books didn't really help me because I don't learn like that. I learn from it like being explained to me, basically. So after the first test, I took a break and figured out that I needed to go to the community college here, which you have to take the PAX-RN, not the TEAS test. It doesn't translate, so I had to take another test. So I had a deadline, of course. I took it a week before the deadline closed for my program's application, and I only studied, I think, for a week, but I know what my weaknesses are, and it's science, because the reading, I took mine online. I had to through a online proctor where it was just an AI. I had a whiteboard. I showed it to the camera. It's easy, it's timed, but to me the questions were relatively easy on the PAX-RN test. It was also online, so you go at your own pace. I took it in less than an hour at my kitchen counter, literally. I talked to myself through it, which I thought I might get disqualified for, but I didn't. I did end up passing. It took me a few days to get those results. And my results for the PAX was, I had to pull it up again, but it's right here. It's not gonna show very well. But my composite score was a 130. I think I needed a 105 to get in, so it wasn't that bad. It says my RN percentile rank is 87, I guess, out of 100. But for my verbal, I got 60 questions correct, so I got a 78%. Math, I got an 80%, and science, I got a 58%. So as you can see, like, the math and the readings are easy. Well, not easy, but what you've already learned. The science, it'll get you. But what really helped me was there is a channel on YouTube called the Amoeba Sisters. I know you probably watched it in high school, but I needed someone to literally dumb it down for me. And I needed to brush up on the basics of science. Like, I forgot I forgot a lot, because it's been a few years since I had been to school. But what I recommend doing is know exactly what your weaknesses are. My weakness was science, so that whole week when I was at work, I would literally just watch the Amoeba Sisters, literally, of what I couldn't remember. So transcriptions and translations, active versus passive transport, the gradients, everything like that. Now I have it down. And then it's also because I knew the basics would be on the test, because the test is preparing you for going into the program. They want to see what you already know. They want to make sure that you're not going too far behind, because nursing school is hard. You're going in there to save lives. So they need to know that you kind of know your stuff. So they only really cover the basics. So don't try to study too hard into things you already know very well, that you mastered, or that are too complex to be on a basic test. So you just have to remember the basics, like osmosis, just basics, and you should pass. It's hard and stressful, but once it's over, you're gonna be okay. I promise. Well, I hope y'all pass your test, and that's all the tips I really have. But I literally, for the week before, I would just put practice tests on and just listen and think through it in your head. Think through it in your head. Talk to yourself if it makes it any better. I did it through my test,